So this is my review on Luke Cage. Actually, I sound very sarcastic by saying that, but I actually absolutely my favorite season out of the series, even though there's only 2 seasons, but thanks to Netflix. But hopefully we get a future revival for the series, and Mike Colter comes back as Luke Cage. So basically, he got his start in Jessica Jones, and then I think it was like later into the next year, because I know Jessica Jones came out 2015 around November, December, and then Luke Cage came around September, October 2016, and they were building up the Defenders, and basically I didn't know Mahershala Ali was in this as Cottonmouth, and man, he's probably one of my top 5. If they're still considered in this the MCU, he's probably my top 5 villains in the MCU. But I was highly disappointed though when they kind of killed him off like halfway through the season, and I was like, yeah, why? But man, I gotta say, Rosario Dawson, I can't say her name right, but she kills it, and because she was like in every show connecting it all together, you know, eventually the Defenders, and then she kind of took a whole back step into the next seasons of the shows. So I was kind of disappointed when that happened, but even she was like there for a couple episodes in season 2, but then kind of like just vanished. I liked the brother aspect and how personal we got, and got to know a little bit more of the backstory of Luke Cage and some of the deep cut in the comics, and Mariah, I'm gonna say Mariah, and also Shades. I didn't even know he was going to be in this show too, because I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy. I'll do a review on that series soon, eventually. But man, he's one of my favorite actors. He's very underrated, and I was happy to see him in this show, and I'm kind of disappointed that we don't get to see more of him. And Mike Colter, man, I mean, come on. And the subjects they tackle in this season is just beautiful. Again, I just wish this series got to continue, and the way it was going, it was just amazing. It was really getting crazy at end of season 2. But I would give this season 1 of Luke Cage a rating of a solid 7.9 out of 10. And that's my review of Luke Cage season 1. So what did I think about Luke Cage season 2? Ultimately, I liked this season better than season 1, except for the Cottonmouth episodes. They're still superior. Even though I do like Bushmaster in this, and also Mariah's daughter, which is kind of setting up her character being actually Mariah's character, which is weird. In the comics, it's Mariah, but I guess the daughter they were setting it up to be her as the villain. They even had her dressed like her at the last of the season, at the end of the last episode. For me, Shades became more prominent in the first season, but in this season, I kind of see this whole arc of him trying to be this gangster kind of guy, but even it gets to a point where even Mariah is too much, and you would think it from season 1, Shades was a bit crazy, but seeing Mariah and her basically unfolding or going crazy in this season, you know, and I gotta tell you, that scene where they burned the Bushmaster's uncle alive was, I mean, like screaming, the cries. Like, I remember first seeing that years ago when it came out. I remember I actually had a nightmare about it, dude. It was like, it was sick, but you know, I appreciated the scene as in trying to get the point across that Mariah is kind of crossing a line so far. She's so far gone that she's willing to do anything for her own happiness, even screw over her own daughter. And it just, Luke Cage, I feel like kind of became, in a sense, the Dark Knight, like from the Dark Knight movie, where he becomes, ultimately he has to become this mob boss, not mob boss, but more of the king, if you will, of Harlem, become this, not villain, but becoming a very necessary evil to fight off other evil or something like that. His arc from getting carried away with the anger and not dealing with it to the point where now he's channeling it to something else, his character becoming ultimately the king, kind of where Cottonmouth might ended up in the beginning. And Misty Knight was a badass in this. I loved her. She was amazing. And Colin Wing, that episode was amazing. And Iron Fist. I give it a rating of a 7.9 out of 10.